Welcome to the Jay Kim Show. This is your host, Jay Kim. I am an investor, author, and fitness entrepreneur, and for the first time in Asia, I sit down with the world's most brilliant minds in business, investing, and entrepreneurship. You'll learn all the secrets, strategies, and formulas to becoming a successful entrepreneur directly from the masters. If this is your first time listening, thank you for stopping by. This podcast is produced every week with the goal of providing actionable insight to you, the listener, with every single episode. And now, on to the show. Today's guest is Selena Soo. Selena is a business and publicity coach for entrepreneurs, experts, and authors. She helps people increase their visibility through her signature approach, which essentially comes down to building powerful, long-lasting relationships. She's helped clients land multiple six-figure book deals and get featured in big-name articles and magazines such as the Oprah magazine. Selena actually grew up in Hong Kong, so she's very familiar with the ecosystem out here. The big question that she answers in today's episode is, how do you gain influence, especially if you're just starting out in your business? Tune in to find out. Selena, thank you so much for being on our show. This is the new launch podcast, and we're really excited to have you on just due to sort of what you do and the success you've had. So why don't you start off by telling our audience here in Asia who you are and what you do for a living?
Sure. So my name is Selena Soo, and I'm a business and publicity strategist. And what I do is I work with entrepreneurs who have personal brands. They may be an expert, a author, a coach, a service provider, but they've got a personal brand and they're looking to get that out into the world. And so I've got different programs that help them get clients. I also have a course on networking, and I also have a publicity course. So with a lot of entrepreneurs, one of the biggest struggles is that they're great at what they do, but people just don't know about them. And so I help them get known and reach more people so they can make a bigger difference in the world.
I see. And so what you do, does that have any overlap with, say, like a social media marketing type service? Or this is probably more bespoke and a little higher level than that?
Sure. So my main focus isn't social media, although that is definitely part of the marketing mix. My main focus is helping people develop the kind of relationships that can take their business to the next level. So when you think about it, everything that you want in life and in business comes through other people. As a business owner, maybe you want clients and customers. Well, that happens when there's other people telling people about you, saying you've got to work with this person. She's amazing. You've got to buy this product or service. So it all comes to other people. Or if you're looking to get publicity, someone has to believe in you and give you the opportunity to give you that big platform. And in my own business, my business has grown quickly because of incredible endorsements and recommendations that people have made to my products and services. And then also the big deal opportunities that I've had to get in front of a lot of people and share my message so that people know who I am. So it comes down to relationships. Also, a really good way to grow your business is through referral partners. So people who are already in touch with your ideal clients and have that trust with them, then recommending you. So when I look at the work I do, I think relationships is really key. Another key piece is publicity. I really like helping people get visibility and raise their brand and profiles through publicity. And then also there's, of course, the business strategy piece. I think when it comes to growing our businesses, our brands, our visibility, there's literally, hundreds of things that you could be doing. But we don't have all day to promote ourselves. We have to obviously do our work, serve our clients, our customers. So I really help people think strategically about the fastest way to get from where they are right now to where they want to be and to achieve their business goals.
Right. That's awesome. I think I love how you are bringing it back to the fundamentals of relationships. And I think that this is sort of the way business used to happen in the past. And then, I bring up social media marketing because I think it's a very, catchy phrase now. And a lot of people are jumping into that. And because of the flood of the internet, the content out there, and just there's a lot of junk out there too.
Right.
I feel like we're kind of at this point where we're at peak sort of internet marketing, and that a lot of people jumped into that trying to make a quick win. But then now we're seeing a little bit of almost a day of reckoning where people are starting to realize that, hey, if you don't have that trust, in that community, and you don't have those relationships with those key influencers and the people that you help your clients connect to, your success is going to be short-lived, or it might not be in the same way that you want it to manifest, right?
Absolutely. I think that, when people are making decisions about who to work with, they're always looking to mitigate risk. They want to know, is this person professional? Are they going to get the results that I'm hoping for? And so they're looking for signs that they can trust you. So one of the biggest signs is if you've got testimonials on your website, especially from notable people saying, this is the go-to person. These are the results we've gotten. Working with this person was a game changer, right? So those testimonials and endorsements are so important. And I've hired people definitely based on recommendations from friends or endorsements I've seen on their website. And then also publicity is really powerful because while there are so many great ways to get your name out there through social media, which you should be doing, but you can't overlook the power of publicity, because it's one thing to just run Facebook ads all day saying, hey, I'm the best, look at me. And that is like, we should be doing that. And I've used Facebook ads myself to promote certain things, but there is something totally different when you're, let's say, on a podcast and you're being interviewed by a well-known host for a well-known podcast who's saying, wow, you are the best person at what you do. Everyone listen up. You've got to follow this person's work. You've got to sign up for her services. I've, benefited from her work. These are my results. That's like someone else giving you the endorsement versus it only being you saying that you're the best. So you want to, I'm out there on social media too, from time to time sharing things, but you definitely need those endorsements and recommendations from other people that happen, through just kind of word of mouth, endorsements that are on your site, as well as through the media, having these big people and brands elevate you and spread your message to more people.
Yeah, I mean it's so powerful when all you need is one or two of these key guys that have just a strong, like a million or half a million readership, like an email list, and it goes out. And the power of that, I think people underestimate, and they think that they can shortcut it, but there really is no shortcutting that. I mean, you really have to have like you said, all these guys want to mitigate risk.
Yes.
They're not going to put something out if it's ever going to come back and bite them in the rear end, So.
And I just want to add something to that, because yes, it's definitely great when you have these big influencers, telling everyone about you, but there's many different types of influencers. It's not about just getting the super famous like Richard Branson or Tim Ferriss or Oprah Winfrey endorsing you, because that may or may not happen. There are people that are very influential and can help your business in a big way that may even be in your immediate circle that you just need to cultivate a deeper relationship with. For some businesses, it's just you need one or two clients that work with you ongoing, and right there and then you may have a six-figure business, depending on what the contract and the agreement looks like. So, I always encourage people to put together an influencer list of the people they want to connect with. But on their influencer list, it's not only the most famous, out of reach people that may take years to develop a relationship with. It's also people in your immediate circle, also people that are super connectors. Maybe they're not household name famous, but behind the scenes, these are the people who are making it happen. So I encourage people to think really broadly about who are the people that they can connect with to grow their business.
Right. That's awesome. So Selena, we're going to get into a lot of what you do and for your clients and stuff, but I want to take one step back before we do that. And I want to talk about your story for a little bit, if that's okay. And you obviously, I don't think you were a publicist your entire career. Can you share with the audience a little bit about how you started off your career and how it became, you are in essence a successful entrepreneur yourself. So I would love if you could share your story with our audience.
Absolutely. So my greatest passion has always been connecting people to opportunities. I feel like I'm very able to quickly see the synergies between people and opportunities and who needs to know who. And so even when I didn't have a business, I was connecting people to six-figure consulting opportunities and media opportunities and other influencers. I've always been driven to help people who I think have a powerful message that the world needs to know about, because I think that they are the ones who are really changing people's lives. So my main focus has been working with certain, thought leaders in the, business, personal branding, health and wellness, relationship space, but these how-to experts that help people live a better life. And so rather than waiting for opportunities, I just created my own opportunities. I would see someone who I thought was incredible, and I would reach out to them and offer value, offer to make a connection, offer a suggestion, whatever it is. But it's kind of like a lifestyle where you're showing up every day and you're giving to people. And so over time, I developed these relationships, and people got to see the quality of my work, even though a number of them weren't even official clients of mine. And these people really believed in me and saw me as a go-to expert in publicity and influence and making connections. And so that gave me the confidence to start my own business. And pretty quickly, from day one, I had testimonials from top people in my industry and top media. And that led to a lot of people coming to me. At first, even though I knew how to help people, I didn't really know how to structure my business properly. And so after a number of months, I signed up to work with a business coach who helped me create my coaching business, which then evolved into a mastermind program. And now I have different group programs where people work with me. So I've usually got a couple hundred people in each of my programs. And so I'm able to give them amazing content and in-depth training. With a lot of the programs, I do have Q&A calls. I'm able to talk to people and answer their individual questions in a group setting, in a Facebook group. Right. And so it's been great. I've had my business, at this point for about 4 years now, and it's grown really quickly. We're hitting the 7-figure mark this year, which is exciting. Wow. It's exciting for me. It's such a milestone.
Unbelievable. Congratulations.
Yeah, because the other thing that I didn't share earlier is before I started my business, I worked in the nonprofit world and I made a nonprofit salary. And I remember thinking that I was kind of capped. I knew that I was someone who was a big giver and I loved to help people and that I was hardworking. I didn't see myself as a business person. I was also very introverted and behind the scenes. And so I thought that to be a successful entrepreneur, you had to be this extrovert born for this stage and you had to know everything. And, now of course I realize, well, you get to outsource things and you don't have to know how to do every single thing in your business. But from somebody who was making very little money and kind of just behind the scenes to now, having my own business and sharing my gifts in a bigger way and being able to generate that kind of revenue and make that kind of difference, pretty mind-blowing. So I'm very grateful for where I am today.
That is unbelievable. It's such an unbelievable story. Yeah. So you essentially, you were your first beta tester almost. You just practiced what you preached. You were started off in nonprofit, so obviously and just to interject here, Selena, I mean, this is rare because most people, you either have it or you don't. This mentality of service, right? So a lot of people, when you were giving the examples of, I would just do this sort of thing. I would connect these people. I would say, hey, look, this person's looking for a job, let me hook them up, and they got a 6-figure gig. And you would do this stuff for free.
Yes.
It was just, it would make you happy doing this sort of thing. And I think that's awesome because it basically, that's how your business basically came back to you that way, right?
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
amazing.
And the one thing, a lot of people get tripped up on this because they think that, well, I have to charge for what I'm doing. And of course you do to an extent, but I think in the beginning, I was just about showing up and adding value, and I didn't even need anything in return. I didn't need money. I didn't need now I did this for you, you did this for me, because I was connecting with some of the biggest influencers in my field. And for me, being able to give back to them was the reward. And also them trusting me and letting them into my circle. There's a lot of people that reach out to these people saying, oh, I want to help you, but you can't say yes to everyone because you can't trust them. And so, yeah, I think by being a giver and by adding so much value, it made me see my own worth, and then it comes back to you. I mean, nowadays, now that, I have my business full time, I do obviously charge for my services, and things are priced, at a premium rate, which is why we have a 7-figure business. But it's like not everything has to be monetized. I even think about, right now, like I have a lot of mentors and friends, and we're constantly giving each other advice, very valuable advice that's valued in tens of thousands of dollars, but we're not monitoring, and kind of calculating every conversation and transaction, we're just giving. So I think that you have to find that balance. But in the beginning, I think it's just better to give, but give intentionally. I mean, because I'm someone who I give a lot, I can't just help every single person. Otherwise, I'll just be helping people all day. I couldn't get anything else done. But when there's someone who you really connect with, and you'll know it when you feel it, like that, just the act of giving and the ability to contribute to this person's life, that is a reward in and of itself. Those are the people that you want to help, where you don't need anything in return. And then over time, your reputation will grow. So that's how it's worked in my own business.
Yeah, I truly believe that. I mean, it's abundance versus scarcity, and I think that if you like you say, if you target the right people, sort of target the right people, but you kind of have to have a kind of sixth sense for this sort of thing. And but once I truly believe that if you are genuine and go out of the gates with that mentality, you're gonna get it back in some way, shape, or form. It might not be monetary, but in some way, shape, or form, it will come back, and that's pretty much kind of like your business model, right?
Right. And actually, one thing I'll add is like in the experience. So, one of the barriers to people saying yes to your work is money. That's not the only barrier. There's also like time. Can I trust this person? Is it going to be worth it? But, money is one of them. And so early on, I mean, I wasn't even, this was just happened very organically, but I just started helping people. And then, it ended up that I got endorsements from certain people, and I had certain experiences with top people that I probably wouldn't have gone otherwise if I didn't just, offer my help with no strings attached. And then also, because I was helping people in the areas of mostly publicity and branding and connections, when you're helping high-level people, it's very easy to help them because they're somebody that people already want to know. There's a reason why they're successful. It's because they're amazing. And so when you get to support these kinds of people, it's like you can get results more quickly. Like, let's say I was trying to help somebody with publicity who was just getting started, didn't really know what their message was really confused, didn't have any clarity. Obviously, what I can do for someone is not going to be as much as somebody who is very clear and has got a lot going on. So it wasn't even intentional, but indirectly by helping these top people, I was able to get results quicker. I was able to say, oh, I got this person into Oprah magazine, onto this TV show, and so forth. So it ended up actually being a very good thing indirectly for the business.
Wow, amazing. Okay, so let's dig a little deeper here now. Okay, so thank you for sharing that part of your story. That was fascinating, and I'm so happy for you and your business. It's amazing. So let's say I am a potential client of yours, and I have my own business. It's let's say it's an online lifestyle consulting type business, something online where I'm trying to be, a life coach, let's say.
Yeah.
How would I start off connecting with influencers? What are the pitfalls that I have to be aware of? How do I not come across as a stalker and actually make meaningful relationships that I can, eventually not use, that's the wrong word to say.
From. Yeah.
Exactly. To just partner with potentially or just actually have in your network.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the very first step is getting clear on who you want to connect with, because there are, thousands of interesting people that, you could potentially connect with, but you're just one person. And so we need to kind of be thoughtful about who we're connecting with. So in order to figure out who goes on your influencer list. You've got to get clear on what your goals are. So because an influencer is somebody who can help you achieve your goal. They're connected to your goal in some way. Maybe they've already achieved it, so they can kind of show you the way, or they can connect you to people that can support you in that journey, or they can open up a door for you. But your influencers have to be connected to your goals. So you have to know what your goals are. And so your goals can be business related, and they could be lifestyle or personal related. I know some people that want to be able to run their business while traveling the world and living this laptop lifestyle. So maybe you want to meet somebody who has done that before, or somebody who has done that while, having a family, or someone that has, maybe it's like you're growing your business, but you want to learn how to have balance and not just completely lose yourself. So there could be somebody who could help with that, so that's like a lifestyle thing, but it's still connected to your business and to your life goals. Other goals that people might have could be growing an email list, or growing their authority, getting out there, getting clients, writing a book, maybe doing webinars, whatever it is. Give yourself an opportunity to just kind of freely think about, what are all the different things that I want to accomplish, all my different goals, big and small, and write them on a piece of paper. And then go back and circle the things that are most important, that you feel most drawn to. Like, I would love to connect with people around these topics and be inspired by people who have accomplished these things. So those are your goals. And then, you want to look at the people who are connected to it, but then you also want to have a filter. So it's not just about who is powerful and famous. You want to connect with people that you're naturally drawn to, that have similar values to you. So there could be someone who's accomplished what you want, but maybe you've heard this person, doesn't have a lot of integrity. They're not a good guy or a great person. Then it doesn't matter that they're influential. They're not going to be your influencer, because that's not the person that you want to associate or affiliate yourself with. So that's kind of like the first step, is getting clear on who these people are, and then creating that list of 20 influencers. And like I said, it's not just the most famous people. It's also people that are just a couple steps ahead of you. They could be in your immediate circle. They could be behind the scenes, or they know how to connect you to people. So step one is that, and I can go through the other steps, but I'm glad that we're kind of starting from the beginning, because it's like, I'm not about, people going to a million networking events and feeling depleted and having a bunch of business cards they do nothing with, or just being unfocused. Because, as a business owner, you've got to generate revenue for your business. You've got to serve your clients. You've got to make a difference. So, a lot of your time is to be spent on that. So you have, time for other things, but the reality is time is limited. And so you want to selectively focus on people where it's, they're connected to your goals, and there's really that win-win opportunity there.
Yeah, I think it's awesome that how you say that, look, don't come in trying to go straight for the moonshot. You're not going to connect with Tony Robbins on the first
right, yeah.
in the first year, and in fact, maybe someone in your local community, or someone several notches down on that value chain will be of more use to you, right?
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. And then, so the next step is adding value, because when you think about it, people already know a lot of people. We've got great people in our lives already. So for someone to let you into their life in a meaningful way, you have to contribute to their life. You have to add value. And people kind of freeze up when they hear this, because they're like, well, maybe they're just getting started in their business, or they're looking to people who they think are so impressive, and they're like, well, what could I possibly offer them for whatever they need? They could just hire someone, pay someone. They know all these people. But there's so many different ways that you can add value. One of the simplest, but honestly the most powerful ways, is expressing appreciation.
Right.
So there's a lot of experts out there, and they've dedicated their lives to helping people maybe grow their businesses, improve their relationships, improve their health. And they've made this, their life purpose and their full-time job, because they care so passionately about it. And so when they know that people appreciate their work, that they took action on what they shared, that they bought maybe a course or a book, or attended an event of theirs, and that created a big shift in their lives, people want to hear that. And so you can reach out to people to let them know the impact you've made on them. And one thing that I learned from a mentor of mine, whose name is Ramit Sethi, is you can end your emails by saying no response needed. And what I really love about that is you have to put yourself in that influential person's shoes. So on the one hand, they want to know their work is making a difference, and everybody has this deep desire to feel appreciated. That's probably the driving force in their business. And then there's also the reality that they are busy and that they are one person and that there's a lot of people that are kind of coming at them all day long. And so even when you send an email to someone, while the email is a gift, because you're spending the time to let them know something and express appreciation, it's also it can become something on their to-do list, right? It's taking up their time. They have to read it. They may feel like they have to respond to it. But when you email someone in a way that is thoughtful and deep, it's not just a surface level thing. You're giving specifics, but it's also not like a novel. It's kind of to the point, and then you end your email by saying no response needed. Then that's a pure gift because they don't even need to respond. All they need to do is receive the gift and the compliment. So that's something simple that everyone can do. And I really, encourage people to take a look at the people in their lives who they can go and express more appreciation to right now. Because a lot of times, I find that people do appreciate others and they may be saying to a friend, oh my gosh, this person was so amazing. The advice they gave me, I'm so lucky, or, oh, I really admire this person. But they're telling that to other people, which is good, but they're not telling it to that person who's affected them. And wouldn't that person like to know more than anything? So that's something pretty simple that all of us can do right now. Think about who is someone that you appreciate, who are people that you appreciate. Make a list and then pick 3 people and reach out and let them know that how they've added value to your life right now.
And I think that it's important that you actually, it's not like, oh, thanks, I follow your blog and it's great, it's awesome, cheers,
Right.
No need to write back. But you actually have to have, be following them and actually have to be sincere. You can't just do like a blanket email because that'll just end up hurting you, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you want to be specific, because if you're just general, it's not memorable. When you're specific, they see, oh, wow, this really did make an impact. This was the result. This was the thing that really resonated. So yeah, being specific is huge. And there's so many ways to add value. In my program Influence, I talk about 12 different ways. This is just one of them. But this is the most powerful. And I'd rather, give your listeners something that they can, like the most powerful stuff they can implement right away. So that is one of the things. And then just to maybe add a few quick ones, connecting people to other people that they might like to know, sharing resources, opportunities, suggestions. These also, are ways to add value. So that's kind of step 2. Number 1 is identifying who your influencers are based on your goals. Step 2 is, connecting them in a way that adds value and contributes. And then step number 3 is about developing long-term relationships with people and deepening the connection. Because if you just meet someone one time, and that's it, that person's an acquaintance. That's not like a deep relationship. And you can't meet someone once and then 3 years later come back and ask them for a huge favor. It's so out of the blue and it doesn't make sense. And so you want to deepen the relationships. And there's lots of different ways to do that. In terms of after you meet people, certain types of follow-up emails that you can have, having certain systems in terms of, how frequently you want to reconnect with people, whether that's in person, on the phone, or in a group setting. But, you want to turn people from just like an acquaintance to someone who's actually a friend or a deep business, connection that cares about you. And then the last step number 4, is about asking for help, because you want to show up in a relationship as a giver. And that's, why people want to let you into their world. But because we're all human, we all need help in life. And part of a healthy relationship is giving and receiving. And in fact, when you're somebody who gives so much and people really care about you and appreciate you, they actually get value. They feel reward from giving back. Like it feels good for them. And so, but the other thing is that you need to know how to ask for help. A lot of people feel so scared. If I ask for help, they might think that I'm using them. Maybe I ask for something, they don't really want to give that to me, and then I make them uncomfortable. And so there's so many different ways to, so many things that you could ask for help, and there's specific ways that you can do it. So the things that I teach, the key things that people need help with is they want to ask for advice. They want to ask for introductions and connections to other people. They also want to get connected to ideal clients or customers. They want to get different publicity opportunities, perhaps. Maybe they would like to see if that person will be willing to endorse their work.
Right.
So those are some of the key asks. And you can ask for these things, but the main thing to keep in mind is you want to put yourself in someone else's shoes. And it sounds simple, but honestly, we look at things from our own perspective and we're just so focused on what we want, but it's like, well, how would it feel to the person on the receiving end? And so you want to ask for things that people would feel comfortable with giving. And sometimes you don't know. And so when you ask for something, like a tip that I would give is that you don't want to seem overly attached or that you have these very high expectations.
Right.
It might be something like, hey, I just want to run this idea by you, and then sharing a bit about your situation and seeing if they would be open to, X, Y, Z. And then just kind of pausing and just kind of sensing like, getting a sense of whether they're comfortable or not. And then if not, like it's fine, but not being overly attached, but just saying, I want to run the idea by you to see if it was interesting, to see if it's something that you would consider. And then just also recognizing that they're exceptionally busy and saying, hey, no, you're exceptionally busy. I have so much respect for your time, but I did want to run this idea just to see if this resonates, if it's something that you might be able to help me with, support me with, or even just point me in the right direction. That would be so appreciated.
Right. Yeah, there's such an art form when it comes to asking, and I think it definitely depends on the level of relationship that you have with the person. But also, it's an ask is an ask. It should not have anything strings attached or expectations attached. So you should be expecting a no, and if they do say yes, then that's a bonus, right?
Oh yeah, that's a good mindset. I mean, I think that when I ask people for something, the way that my mind works is I first think they're an extremely busy person. They don't have time. There's a million people that they could be doing things for, and they have their own lives, their own businesses. So how do I ask in a way where they're going to be excited to help me? I never assume it's immediate yes. I mean, sometimes it's like if it's a really good friend of yours and you've given back to them in so many ways and they keep on saying, hey, like, whenever you need my help with X, please come to me. Of course, like then you're like, okay, well, I think they'd be very receptive. But I always try to put myself in their shoes because I never want to ask in a way that takes. I want to ask in a way that is actually giving, because for them it's also rewarding to contribute in this way. Because I never want people to do something and later feel like, I didn't really want to do it, but I felt like I had to because I had all this pressure on me.
Right. Yeah, that's really that's good advice. Well, listen, Selena, I want to look to wrap up here because I am respectful of your time. I know you're very, very busy over in New York. I just have two final questions for you. The first is, as a parting thought, if you had one piece of advice that you could give our young, aspiring entrepreneurs that want to connect to influencers, in Asia, what would you leave them with?
Yeah, so the one piece of advice, which I've kind of talked about, but I want to share it in a new way, is one is reach out to people, including the people that you admire. Don't think that you're not good enough to talk to them. There's this saying that I really like, which is the moment that you put someone up on a pedestal is the moment that they start looking down on you. And that's not to say that you can't admire people or appreciate them and recognize that they're exceptionally busy. But I think a lot of times, we go into relationships and situations thinking, oh my gosh, this person is such a big deal and I've got nothing to offer. I've got no value. Why would they even want to talk to me? I'm just at the beginning, like I don't have it together. Like I need to almost like hide, or I need to wait until I'm in a better place. And when you have that kind of negative self-talk and you're entering relationships with that mindset, that is creating the unhealthy dynamic. And we forget that we are the one that created it. Versus when we come into relationships, and we can definitely admire people and even look up to them, but think like, hey, I've got something to offer too. And more of, I want to connect with you because I want to give back. And when you add value to people and contribute, then you kind of elevate yourself in their eyes and you level the playing field by adding value. So, again, there are lots of ways to give back. And, as humans, we are all equal. And in business, the way that we, elevate ourselves in the world is by being someone who's making a difference and contributing. So it's something that all of us can absolutely do. So that is the most important thing to keep in mind.
Man, I love that saying, that analogy that you give. It's so powerful. The graphic, the visual is so powerful. So thank you for that.
Yes.
You've given us so much gold here today, Selena. I really appreciate it. So where is the best place people can find you? Is there anywhere that you want our readers to sort of hit you up on or connect with you on social media or your website or any links?
Yes, there's two places I recommend they check out. So the first is my website. So it's selenasoo.com. And they can, learn more about me there on my homepage. I mean, I'm not planning on changing the homepage soon, but I have a free gift for people.
Oh, fantastic.
Where they can learn how I went from like nothing, like zero, to making $157,000 in my first year as a coach, which is kind of crazy because I'm from the nonprofit world. So that was like my revenue, my, income multiplied many times over. But I really break down the step by step, exactly what I did, scripts I used for outreach, like everything. So if they really want to see like, how did I do it step by step? I have a very detailed 31-page report that they can get on my website, or they can go to selenasoo.com/free report and check it out there. And then another resource I want to share with people is this guide I created. And it's just a web page. They don't have to opt in. They can get everything just right on the web page. It's at selenasoo.com/event guide. And it's called the ultimate guide to meeting people at events. And how
that's very useful.
Yeah, it's very connected to what we talk about. And so, if you're ever going to a networking event or a conference and you don't know how to prepare, you don't know what to say to people, you don't know how to make the most of it, this is a very in-depth report. And actually, I didn't even pitch, Business Insider, but they found my guide and they wrote 3 articles on it because they felt like it was so helpful. And then a friend of mine at Inc. wrote an article, and there's a lot of people sharing this guide because it's so powerful what I'm sharing here. So I definitely encourage people to check it out. And I was at a big event recently, and my mentor who ran the event shared it with his audience. And I saw people at the event, they had my guide printed out with their notes, and that was their prep. And it was just so cool to see people using it.
Wow.
So yeah, I encourage people to check that out because I really, put everything I have into it, and it's going to be really useful for you.
Man, I'm going to check that out myself. I've been to tons of events, and I feel so awkward when I go. So I'm definitely going to check out selenasoo.com/event guide.
Yes.
That's definitely it for me.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed our talk today, and thank you for coming on the show. I think you just gave us so much knowledge and gold. I think our listeners are going to really, really appreciate this episode. So I appreciate it, and congratulations on all your success, and the best of luck in 2017.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure. So much fun talking to you.
All right. Take care. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. All the show notes and links can be found over at jkimshow.com. Come back often and make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. Don't forget to join us next week for another exciting episode of The J. Kim Show. I'd love to hear your comments. You can find me on Twitter at jkimmer, JAYKIMMER. See you guys next week. This podcast is brought to you by Hack Your Fitness, the high achiever's guide to getting ripped in under 3 hours a week. If you're anything like me, you're probably working a full-time job or jobs and trying to find time to balance family life, social life, and last but not least, fitness. Look, I get it. I'm a full-time investor and entrepreneur myself, and father of 2. So how am I able to stay fit year-round without spending hours and hours in the gym killing myself on the cardio machine? After struggling for the last 15 years trying every workout and diet under the sun, I finally designed a system that allows me to achieve and maintain single-digit body fat for life in under 3 hours a week. Cardio not required. Head on over to hackyour.fitness and download my free 13-page guide that teaches you the simple science behind efficient fitness and smart nutrition and gives you everything you need to know to finally take control of your life. That's hackyour.fitness.